please. Just before we start, can I remind everybody to turn off your mobile phone or switch them to silent, please? Thank you. Can I ask the live streaming to commence, please? Thank you. Good evening, councillors, member of the galleries and the viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. My name's Alan Getley. I'm the Mayor of the Bull Oak Shire Council and I'll be the chairperson of tonight's meeting. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here this evening. Just before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting tonight and pay my respects to their elders and to the elders of other communities that may be here. Please be seated. This council meeting is being recorded and web streamed live to council's website via YouTube. This recording is also available as video on demand. Attendees are advised they will be recorded during the meeting. As a reminder that councillors, we act in accordance with the Councillor Model Code of Conduct, which will support the principles of leadership and good governance and secures public confidence in the office of councillor. I'd like to introduce the other councillors in attendance tonight. Councillor Stephen Barrett, Lower Avoca Ward, Councillor Charmaine Delaney, Mount Jeffcott Ward, Councillor Bernadette Hogan, Mallee Ward, Councillor Graham Milne, Mount Jeffcott Ward, and Councillor Bruce Stafford, Lower Avoca Ward. I'd also like to introduce Mr Wayne O'Toole, Chief Executive Officer, and the Executive Management Team, Gaynor Allen and Dan McLaughlin. I'd also like to welcome the Council's Governance Manager, Jennifer Hewitt. Item 2, apologies. I have one apology this evening from Mrs Jenna Allen. Confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. Councillors, could I please have a motion for the confirmation of the minutes of council meetings which were held on the 3rd of March 2025 and the 19th of March 2025. Could I have a mover, please?
Move me.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. And a seconder, please. Councillor Stafford. Anybody against that? No, they're not. I declare that motion carried. Item 4, I have one leave of absence. Councillor Hogan has made a request for a leave of absence from the 28th of April to the 26th of May 2025. Councillors, could I please have a motion?
Happy to move that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. And a seconder?
Happy to do that, Mayor.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Presence on return, Mr Mayor.
Presence on return. So all those in favour?
Aye.
That's carried. We wish you a very good trip.
Thank you.
Councillor Hogan.
Presents for everyone.
Disclosures of pecuniary and conflict of interest. Councillors and officers, are there any conflicts of interest to declare?
No, Mayor.
Questions from the public. Councillors received 2 questions from the public for this evening's meeting. The Chief Executive Officer will read the questions to the meeting and the name of the person who submitted the questions. And as both these questions are both operational and of nature, the CEO will also answer these questions.
Thank you, Mayor. And we received 2 questions from the same person, being Mr James Goldsmith of Gilgil. Question 1 is, would you please provide the total cost to ratepayers that Council has spent on all legal costs from 1 April 2024 to March 31, 2025 regarding the esoteric site? And Mayor, the answer to that question is Council has incurred $95,426.54 in legal fees attributed to the esoteric event.
Thank you.
And question 2, Mayor, as I indicated, is also from Mr James Goldsmith. Is there evidence of any communication to the landowner or the event organiser of alleged inspection by Wayne Wookie's representative making a site inspection on February 22, 2025? And Mayor, the answer is officers have checked council records and can confirm that council's authorised planning officers were on site on 19 February 2025 and an authorised building inspector was on site on 6 March 2025. There were no officers on site on Saturday, 22nd of February 2025. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Item 7, procedural items. 7.1, report of councillor assemblies. Councillor, is there a motion to receive the report of councillor assemblies? Councillor Hogan, could I get a seconder, please? Councillor Milne, thank you. Councillor Hogan, would you like to speak to the motion at all?
Oh, no, just take the report as issued.
Thank you. Councillor Milne.
No, I have nothing on that, thank you.
Anybody opposed to that motion? All those in favour?
Mr Mayor, can I please go back one step and just ask a question in relation to the response to those questions? What form will the question asker get is that the only response they get, is what we read out?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question, Councillor Milne. Yes, typically they would go into the minutes of the meeting where they can be viewed by the public.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. So all those in favour of that item 7.1? That's carried. Thank you. 7.2, status of action of past council meeting resolutions. Councillors, there a motion to receive the status of action past council meeting resolution report.
Yep.
Councillor Stafford. Do I get a seconder, please? Councillor Delaney. Councillor Stafford, any comments? Councillor Delaney?
No.
All those in favour? That is carried. 8, general business, policy reports. There are no policy reports this evening. 8.2, management reports, appointment of audit and risk committee chair. Councillors, do I have a motion for this item, please? Councillor Hogan.
So, the recommendation will be the motion that council appoint Mr Dean Slay as chairperson for the Audit and Risk Committee, and that the appointment will be for the shortened term concluding 15th of November 2025 in alignment with the conclusion of Mr Slay's second term as an independent member of the Audit and Risk Committee.
Thank you. Seconder for that, please. Councillor Milne. Thank you.
Sorry.
Any discussion, Councillor Hogan?
No, I think it's been discussed at the Audit and Risk Committee, and I'm sure Mr Slay will make an excellent chairperson.
Thank you. Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just to say that that Audit and Risk Committee should be in good hands with Dean at the head and the other members involved. So we look forward to their working with us.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Anybody against that motion? All those in favour? That is carried. 8.2.2, variation to contract C125, additional scope of works. Councillors, do I have a motion for this item, please? Councillor Barrett? What's the motion, please?
Put the motion that it be adopted as per the as per the contract.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Delaney. Any discussion, Councillor Barrett?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory why there's been a variant on it, and I can't see no reason to forego any other
Thank you.
comments on it.
Thank you. Councillor Delaney?
I agree with Councillor Barrett. Thank you.
Anybody not in favour of that motion? Councillor Milne?
Oh no, I'm in favour. Sorry.
Oh, you're in favour, sorry. All those in favour?
I thought that's what you said.
Up there. That's right, thank you. That's carried, thank you. 8.23, community grants. Councillors, do I have a motion for this item, please?
Yeah, happy to move that, Mr Mayor, that the recommendation that Council approves the following allocations of funds under the Community Grants Program. $2,000 for Birchip Buds, planting the seeds of sustainability for the Birchip Playgroup, and $180 for the Donald Senior Citizens Centre Incorporated for a mahjong table and tile set.
Thank you,
and
councillor
I
Milne.
might go and play myself.
Me too.
Can you play that, can you, Graham?
Yep.
Could I have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Delaney. Councillor Milne, any discussion?
Look, only to suggest that the $2,000 towards the Birchip Playgroup is to help them to enable to increase their play space out the back, and I think that's a good thing. Having listened and looked to see what they're trying to do, I think it'll all work very well for them. And of course, the $180 for the, while it's a small amount, it'll make a big difference to the people who play that game. Yeah.
Thank you, councillor Milne. Councillor Delaney.
I agree with Councillor Milne's discussions and look forward to seeing on both accounts the improvements.
Thank you. Councillor Hogan.
I just think it's a really good idea that Birchip Buds are supporting sustainability programs, teaching young children to be environmentally responsible. And I think the Mahjong table and tile set will be continue the Mahjong days out for people, encouraging social activity and inclusion across what seems to be quite a wide age group of people interested in playing, which is great. And just while I've got a microphone, I'd like to encourage other groups within the wider Bull Oak Shire to look at accessing some of this money. There's money left in this fund, and if they have got really good projects or good ideas, get them in and get them working.
Thank you, councillor Hogan. Any other councillor? All those in favour?
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you. 8.3 financial reports. There are no financial reports this evening. 8.4 organisational reports. There are no organisational reports this evening. 8.5 reports from councillors. Councillor Delaney, Councillor Hogan and Councillor Milne have provided their reports for inclusion into the minutes. Councillor Stafford, would you like to?
Yeah, look, I've had a few community meetings and events that I've attended. There's probably nothing really significant enough coming out of those that I need to report on, but there's two things I'd like to highlight. On the 22nd of March, at the invitation of the Charlton Football Club, I had the privilege of attending a mental health event. Councillor Delaney attended as well. Bogged in Charlton, which is a part of the Are You Bogged Mate initiative. Excuse me. It's a grassroots movement tackling mental health in rural communities, especially amongst men. And it's all about starting honest conversations and reminding us when life gets tough, it's okay to reach out. Now, the initiative was started by a woman named Mary O'Brien. She's got a strong background in agriculture and rural training. And she just saw a lot of blokes in the bush were doing it tough, but didn't have the tools or the language to talk about it. So she created this program that speaks their language, no jargon, straight up mateship, mental health talk, and encourage people not be afraid to ask for tow when they're bogged, whether it's in the paddock or in life. And we're also lucky enough to have Tom Boyd, a former Western Bulldogs premiership player, share his story. He spoke really openly about his battles with mental health during and after his footy career, and his message really hit home. It was a really powerful reminder that no matter who you are, mental health doesn't discriminate. Now, it was a really well-attended, heartfelt event, and it was a credit to those who helped bring it to life in Charlton. The kinds of conversations that strengthen communities, and I'd love to see more events like this supported across our region. I would also like to provide a bit of an update from the Central Victorian Greenhouse Alliance. The CVGA board's been aware that across Loddon, Mallee, Grampians regions, extreme climate events have been putting growing pressure on council assets and infrastructure, which are in turn disrupting essential services. So we're hearing that councils want to plan ahead and manage these risks to understand what's vulnerable and where the pressure points are. So to address this, the CVGA is making an application to round 3 of the federal government's Disaster Ready Fund to deliver a region-wide asset-level climate risk assessment to help councils identify vulnerable assets and prioritise adaptation efforts. So the project will use some climate modelling to create some tools that council can embed into their systems and processes to support planning and investment decisions when it comes to assets and infrastructure. So it's really about helping councils plan smarter and build long-term resilience into their infrastructure. The board has committed to covering any funding shortfall from its reserves, meaning councils will be able to access this support and the tools at no cost. So I'll provide further updates on that one as they come to hand.
Councillor Barrett.
Yeah, just, thanks, Mayor. I've got to have just been attending a few meetings in the community in the last few weeks. We've had a couple of meetings with Witchy Alive. They have got a couple of different things that they're not really happy with, and Daniel could probably relate to that because he was there at one of our meetings. And that's the communication, as in the customer service area. They feel that needs to be tweaked quite a lot to get some sort of satisfaction back to the community overall. The wetlands construction, they would like that, the community would like to have a bit of an update on where that's at. The Rec Reserve, the management needs to be resolved. There hasn't been any sort of meeting in that regard for about 4 years, so I wonder where that's at. Watering on the medium strip, hopefully that's all fully operational and keep it nice and green down there. I'll come back to that in a minute. Mount Street, where the council is with declassifying Mount Street as a main road. They wonder where that was. Had a meeting with the Witchy-proof Wimmera Health Committee up there at Witchy-proof Hospital, and now I can wonder where we can liaise with council on any sort of health matters that may be of concern in the community. They spoke about housing, which we all know is a bit of an issue with staff numbers and so forth. The community garden up there, I'm hoping to encourage the community to get that up and running again, and I'll gladly lead that, so I'm going to do a bit of investigation into that on my part. Excuse me, went to a Witchy-proof men's shed and had an event down there with the Mallee Family Health, where they spoke with a few various speakers there relating to men's health and where they can help people with different things, whether it be tenancy, all legal, whole range of issues that was discussed on the day, which was quite informative. The Witchy-proof Caravan Park, that's doing great guns up there. They have a few concerns about trees, and I think council may be onto that, and I'm not quite sure where that's at. They've had a few minor issues with maintenance in the building itself, in the cabin. But in saying that, it's been very well patronised, and they're quite happy with the outcome that's happening up there. And I think an invitation is coming to council for us to go up and have a look at the operation up there. Of course, the other, I attended a land care meeting on last Sunday, and they were wondering about the verges of spraying of the verges, so like for the weeds, boxthorn and so forth. A couple of people concerned about that. And just in a lighter note, because I like to give pats on the back where they're due, and with the upkeep of Witchy-proof, people have noticed that a good increase on the parks and areas, and Centenary Park's been quite well looked after, and the community are quite happy with that. Also with the electric vehicle charging stations seem to be well supported, and just like to convey a special thanks to make sure that the teams keep their good work up in the town. It's been recognised. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillors that have submitted reports, do any of you want to speak to your reports that have been submitted? Councillor Hogan?
I just wanted to mention the Neighbourhood House Resilient Women's Luncheon, which they had in Charlton, which was a very well attended event, and the MC was Simone Christie, who did a great job, and our own Joe Fossilwaite, who also was a really good organiser of the day and speaker at the event as well. And we had the return of some really inspirational young speakers who came back to talk to the audience. Hayley O'Callaghan, who was Hayley Warren from Birchip, Monique Watts from Charlton, and our own Jenna Allen, and they all did a great job, these girls, and it was a really, really good day and really well received by the people that went. So thanks very much to all the organising committee for that. It was great.
Councillor Delaney.
Mayor, I'd just like to, first of all, congratulate the Donald and wider community, see the giant kookaburras and Donald, for everybody and their hard work and efforts. The bird looks fantastic. I'd like to also bring attention to the meeting that I had with the Donald Community Precinct, and I have raised the discussion with Council, and I hope in the future that perhaps Council and the association can work closely together on their maintenance program. Also like to bring to the attention, I was invited to the Watch in Progress Association, and it was really heartening to see a group of people, you know, in a small country town making such efforts to make improvements. And I look forward to seeing the maintenance and upgrade to maintenance on their public toilets, which are much needed. I'd also like to bring attention to two other items. One mentioned by a member of the community in unsurfaced roads, just saying it would be great to see a bit more progress in that area of them being graded. And also to acknowledge the email sent by Mr. Goldsmith on behalf of Donald 2000 in regards to the Pope for the BNS ball. Provide a copy to Council and staff for later feedback. Thank you.
Councillor Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll run through a few things here, and I guess there's a couple of questions and other points to make. Discussion with Matt McLaughlin and a couple of others about the proposed underground power line, and I believe that we've got representation coming at the next briefing in Berry Willig in a couple of weeks' time there.
Correct.
Sweet, thank you. Attended the 100-year celebration of the current St Andrew's Church building in Donald, along with Councillor Delaney, and it was a good morning, well celebrated by those people. Had the Watcham Hall annual meeting, zoomed into the balance of when I could get into the meeting for the Wallaloo and Gregory Zoom with the Arianiac Shire Council. That tends to beat me every time. I should start 2 hours early instead of 1 hour early. Attended the Watcham Panthers Cricket Club breakup and B-grade premiership celebration. I wasn't sure whether anybody was aware of the B-grade premiership that the Watcham boys won after 10 years.
Yes.
I just want to make
I do believe you probably told us about
I want
13
to make that
times.
clear.
Thank you, Councillor Mills.
No, very, very, very nice of you to acknowledge that.
Congratulations, Councillor.
Thank you.
You wasn't playing, was you, Graham?
No, I wasn't playing, no. And of course, the council plan workshops and aquatic strategy update, the MFP Zoom meeting, mid-year review for the CEO, and a thank you from the Watcham community for those who were able to make the walk around, and that includes staff and councillors. We'll need to get an update from some councillors who got lost on what they actually saw, so that we can put that in the minutes. But no, look, they appreciated it, and the thing that we've also noticed this week is that there is a bit of a flurry of activity, and the signs went up on the park fence yesterday to say that the toilets are out of use and they're this big and that big, and we've already had somebody say, oh, thank God for that, and they were travellers that come from Mildura and stop there on a regular basis, so the kids can have a run around, and they were quite chuffed that there was a sign on the fence before they got everybody out of the car. Yeah. So appreciate the work done there, and of course there's more going on down at the Anzac precinct when I went past on Monday as well. So and then the briefing at the hall, Watching Progress the other night. We were had a good turn up there, and we had Alicia O'Sullivan turn up, and just to get an idea on the process, she's new to the game, and we thank her for that. the community was happy that there was somebody there that wanted to have a listen. I went to the Litchfield Hall meeting the other day, and this is the first one in probably 18 months. They resolved to put a motion on the books to have one every 6 months, so at some stage they would probably like to have a staff member turn up so that they can just outline some of their wishes, but they do have a community plan, and I've spoken to Gaynor about this, and I will get the updated copy of that because Gaynor wasn't aware of it, so we'll get the updated copy of that and their wish list going forward, which is their sort of appendix to the plan. And they've done a mountain of work out there thanks to grants and Shire contribution. And it's a hall that's used probably once a week, if not twice a week in some locations, in some instances. But their priority for the next 12 months is heating and cooling of that main hall area. So there'll be grant applications and work to be done there with us on that. But a very active and passionate little community as well. So, and I commend them and those smaller places that also think that, you know, it's not time to lay down yet. So get in and have a go. And of course, the last this week, the planning second workshop for the planning here at Wycheproof, and that went very well. So I'll leave it at that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Just from my report, apart from my normal ward duties and councillor duties, I did attend the MAV Councillor Conference down at Cape Schanck with the CEO, which is a 3-day conference. That was very well attended by councillors from around the corner, around the state, and there were some good sessions in there, and some meetings not so good, but anyway, no, but it was certainly well worth the attendance. On Saturday, I attended up at Nullarbor for their 80th anniversary of their 1945 premiership, and Councillor Milne and Councillor Barrett and Mr McLaughlin and Miss Allen and Trevor Rumbold and missing someone. Rory were all up there, that's right. Apologies to Rory, which was very good. Also attended the community reference group of BNI West, and there was a really good turn-up of VicGrid. Alistair Parker, who is the chair of VicGrid, he was there and answered a lot of questions. It was a well-attended meeting. Obviously, we've had the first meeting of our Council Alliance, which is was there. We've got another one next week, and then we'll start to put a bit of meat on the bones of that. And just one other thing, I would like to see a letter of congratulations for Mrs Vera Wood, who turns 100 on the 9th of May, from Birchip. If we could please organise that. That's my report to date. Thank you. 9, other business, notice of motions, I have none. 9.2, do I have any questions from councillors, please?
Just a question. What do we do about cats? You know, I got asked this question yesterday. Ratepayers, I believe, in Wychie, it's been noted to the council, but it's quite a few cats, about 40 of them. So, yeah, don't know where we are with that in regards to how we handle that situation.
Thank
or
you.
Or you handle that situation.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. That's what we like to call a colony. We'll refer that to Ms Atkin, who will follow that up with her local laws team.
Mr Mayor, I hope they have, which he hasn't been pinching watching cats.
Well, they might have
Or Birchip.
Was that the football club, is it?
moved them all there.
Well, because we've got quite a number over there, we would hate to lose them.
You haven't got 40 though, have you?
Yeah,
Come down for
we've grown quite attached to them.
Probably chasing water, Councillor Milne. It's very dry. Any other questions from councillors, please? Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, through you. A couple of just queries, and of course can be taken on notice. The Donahue Road name situation that's been floating around for some time. Not so long ago there was a communication to the applicant suggesting that it was possibly too hard to do the road that we had identified, and that maybe a lane in Watcham was more appropriate. Now, there is probably some discussion to be had over that, so I'd like to just put on, or not put on notice, but just notify that we'd like to have a discussion with that applicant and the relevant people about where we go with that road name application.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Through you, Mayor, we'll take that on notice. Mr McLaughlin will follow that up tomorrow.
Thank you. And the other two questions relate to the Rail Freight Alliance. Did we submit anything to the Rail Freight strategy, the State Rail Freight strategy?
Through the Mayor, yes, I did put something in there, and I think you and I spoke about it, Councillor Milne, which was about the Lelbert crossing. So I said that was probably, even though it's out of our municipality, it's a road that we use a lot, and obviously people coming between here and Swan Hill do. So we've raised that as being an ongoing concern for quite a number of years, as you're aware.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've raised that. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I just wasn't aware whether we'd met the deadline on that. So thank you. And it's also been brought to my attention that I'm not sure if it's this year. I think it's next year. Is the 20 years of the Hobsons Bay Alliance. Now, I stand to be corrected on whether it's this coming year or the next year, but I will get my facts straight. But if it's this year, I'm just wondering whether we shouldn't have had some sort of an allowance in a budget to do something. And I know it's budgets are well down the track, but it doesn't have to be a lot of money, and just to plan something with them if that is if it is in the next 12 months.
We'll follow that. Hobsons Bay, of course, going through a few changes at the moment, Mayor, but we'll certainly follow up with them and just clarify, and then perhaps get together with some of their staff and start.
Yeah, look, as I say, I might be 12 months ahead of myself, but
sure.
I was somewhat busy when I thought of that and didn't go back and check the dates. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you, Councillor Milne. Any other councillors with questions?
Can I just do a little bit of a clarification? That was either at the November 2005 meeting or the February 2006 meeting.
Right.
So one of those, because that was, I remember,
You remember
it
that?
was the first thing I got to vote on.
Okay.
Okay, so then it may well be next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll look into it and have a chat to Hobsons Bay.
Yep.
Thank you, councillors.
But ex-councillor Warren will also be across that, no doubt.
Very good. 9.3 urgent business, I have none. 9.4, any other business? I have none. 9.5, matters which may exclude the public, there are none. Which brings me to item 10, which is the meeting closed. Thank you for your attendance, thank you for your work, councillors, and we'll see you all next council meeting. Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Meeting closed.
7:30.